Hi, I'm Dean with Old English Outfitters, and today we're going to be talking about the Walther WMP. Now, WMP stands for Walther Magnum Pistol, and if you are able to get your hands on one of these, you will understand why that is the case. This gun is huge for such a small bullet. Now, there's a few reasons for that. The chief of them being the 22 Magnum is just a very long cartridge, kind of similar to handguns you will see chambered in 5.7, like the FN 5.7, the Ruger 5.7. The handgun itself has to be big just to accommodate the length of the cartridge fed from a box magazine. So the grip itself feels more full in my hand than, say, a Glock 21 that's chambered in 45 ACP, historically just a very large pistol. This pistol is way bigger than that. Not heavier by any means because of the lightning they've done on the slide and the material they're able to make it from. But as I've been saying, it is chambered in 22 Magnum. What you get in the box is the pistol itself, which we'll discuss in a second. 2 15-round magazines, similar to, again, a 5.7 mag, but it does have the tabs for loading like we've seen on many 22 magazine-fed pistols. It also comes with optic plates for mounting to the slide. The slide is already cut. And unlike with some of the PDPs, they give you the plates in the box. You don't have to request them to be sent from the factory and wait. They just give you a couple in the box that you can mount straight out of whatever store you buy it from. Talking about the pistol itself, it is a 4.5-inch barrel, a little over 8 inches overall from the end of the barrel to the back of the frame. The grip is, as I said, sizable. It is more than a 3-finger grip for me, and they made this pistol just as an absolute hoss. It does have forward cocking serrations, rear cocking serrations. We already discussed the optics cut. It comes with a set of fiber optic sights. Now, not dual fiber optics, it's just an orange front fiber and then a serrated black rear, which I really like. I've discussed in previous videos how I don't like multiple different color fiber optics. I think this is an awesome setup. Serrated black rear and a fiber front really lets you line them up, especially on a bright sunny day like we were shooting today. And it lets you see the light between both sides of the front blade and that rear sight. Serration keeps the glare down. They were just very easy to be accurate with. Like them a lot. It does come with a 1913 Picatinny rail, but what doesn't nowadays? The disassembly lever is just your 90 degree takedown lever like we've seen on a lot of pistols. It is fully ambidextrous. It has a slide catch on both sides, and it has a magazine release pretty much everywhere else. So this is the first pistol that has a 4-way magazine release, meaning there is a magazine button on both sides of the gun, and also a magazine release tab on both sides of the trigger guard. And all of these buttons function individually. They're not connected in any way. So if I insert the magazine and press on the left-hand side, it does not move the right-hand side magazine release. Same vice versa. And if I release with either of the release tabs on the trigger guard, the other one does not move. So basically, if you throw a rock at this gun, you're probably going to drop the mag. I say that as a joke. I didn't have any problems with the magazine releasing or anything like that. Actually, the button release, the standard release, was very stiff, whereas the ears on either side of the trigger guard, like we've seen on a lot of European guns, the old school VP9s and Walthers, those work great. And they're very easy to access with either your trigger finger or if you rotate the gun with your thumb. The magazines, that's one thing I really wanted to discuss because the pistol itself was 100% reliable for us. We shot a few hundred rounds through it with some soft-nose hollow point 22 mag and some just round-nose target full metal jacket. The target fed flawlessly, and the only issue we had with the soft-nose was a failure to feed. Now, the failure to feed was for a couple reasons. It was because I didn't load the magazine right, so it's my fault. I'll take ownership of that. This magazine is a little, I won't say tricky, but if you know how it works, it'll work 100% fine. But figuring it out just took me an extra minute. So the tabs of the magazine, the feed lips, if you will call them, there's actually 2 sets to help with reliability and feeding that very narrow round that is the 22 Magnum. You have the set in the back where you feed the rim of the case through, pulling down on the tabs. But once you get that down, you will see there is a set of lips in the front. those lips actually tension around the brass casing. So I kind of had to load this like half pistol mag, half AR mag. I would feed the rim into the rear set of feed lips and then press down and snap through the forward set of feed lips. Now, once I figured that out, I thought it was a really good idea because you'll get all kinds of failure to feeds with all other 22 pistols. But if you have these other lips centering the cartridge towards the chamber, it shot really well once I figured out how to load it properly. The other thing was you don't want to jack your spring all the way down with these, assistance tabs on either side of the magazine, because if you just try to drop the rounds in like this, they're going to fall all kinds of ways on their ends. I had one flip backwards because I was just trying to throw them in there. You really want to pull it down one, load, and load one step at a time. Don't get ahead of yourself. If you do those two things, the magazine will feed flawlessly, like I said, with both kinds of ammunition we shot. How many rounds are in this mag? Finally, let's discuss the trigger. Now, we have all gotten very spoiled as of late with Walther triggers from the factory. Walther, in my opinion, has one of the best from the factory triggers. It's got a great short, light, and crisp break. The reset is very short and without having to do anything to them. It's not a Glock that you have to spend, $100 and do all these things and pray to a certain god, and then the trigger feels okay, but still not as good as a Walther. This trigger feels kind of like that, because this is not a striker-fired gun. Actually, you can see in the back there is a hammer, and it is a kind of like we've seen from the LCPs and the LCP Max, just the LC series. It is a semi-shrouded hammer-fired pistol. So when you are pulling this back, it is slightly cocking the hammer, and then when you get to that wall, you do your last bit towards the sear, and then it falls down. It shoots really good. It just does not feel as good as the standard PDP triggers and PPQ pistols that we've all gotten used to. It looks the same. You'd think it would feel the same, and it's pretty close, but it's a little heavier pull. It's just a little grittier pull, and the reset is a little bit longer. Still an awesome trigger in this pistol, but if you're expecting it to be exactly like the PDP or PPQ trigger, it's not. Just as a whole, I like shooting the gun. I had a little bit of trouble thinking of any way I would want to use this other than just a fun gun to use at the range, or maybe for varmint control around the house, because this gun is a little bit too big to carry for me. I mean, I'm not a huge guy, but still, this gun's just really big. And that's fine, because that makes it really comfortable to shoot, and it makes the 22 cartridge feel like there's no recoil at all, but I wouldn't necessarily carry it. You couldn't use it for a duty weapon because it's just a 22 mag. And varmints, it's going to take care of quite well, but you couldn't really use it for competition because it's not a heavy enough projectile to swing some of the steel targets that you would have to swing for it. So, other than varmints, a good shooting pistol, and whatever the heck else you might want to use it for, I couldn't think of a reasonable application, at least in my life. Now, that doesn't mean I wouldn't like to own this gun and shoot it a lot, because it was a super fun pistol to shoot. And it just is a little bit more reliable, a little bit more power than a 22 long rifle. And in some cases, just a little bit less dirty. This gun, it did get a little dirty, but we didn't have ridiculous amounts of carbon all over everything in the gun like you'll have with a semi-auto 22 long pistol. Just your standard amount of powder, a little bit more than like a 9mm or 380 or any of those center fire cartridges. It's a rim fire. It's always going to be dirty, but it wasn't necessarily as bad as a 22 long rifle. This is a slick shooting gun, but it is a freaking piece. This thing is huge. So if you're not looking for a big gun, this is a big gun. I wear anywhere from large to double XL gloves. It kind of depends on what kind of gloves. And this gun feels pretty big to me. Don't get me wrong, it's comfortable, but it's big. A lot of people saw this thinking it was going to be maybe a little bit bigger than the Walther CCP, or around the size of a PDP compact. It is not. This is a full-size pistol. This thing is a hoss. So if you're thinking you'd get this and have it be a light projectile for CCW, or something you could get for somebody to carry that maybe doesn't want a bigger projectile, it's not a carry gun. I can't think of any justification to say that this would be a carry gun unless it's outside the waistband just for the heck of it. And that's what a lot of people were not expecting, was just the size of this pistol. Don't get me wrong, it's an awesome gun and it shot really good, but it is big. So beware of that if you're looking for one of these. It's just a big gun in hand. Overall, I really like it. I like it just as a fun gun to shoot. Maybe not the most practical gun because of the size and the cartridge, but it is a fun gun to shoot. If you're looking for pricing information, you can call Old English Outfitters or visit our website. And as always, if you like this video, please like, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. I'm Dean with Old English Outfitters, and we will see you next week.